Times are changing, and it looks like strip clubs aren't what they used to be. With fewer men showing up, dancers are starting to feel the impact, and they're not happy about it. Let's take a look at what's really going on.
I have an ATM between my legs, and I'm just using it. All I got to do is put my card in, and that's it, and put the PIN number, and boom, money just comes right out.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way.
Even if this is a joke, it's not funny. And it's just sad that someone might think this low of themselves. We really need to value ourselves more.
I quit my full-time job to become a full-time stripper.
How many guys you knocking down on spring break? Because it seems like you're just going wild.
He's going pretty crazy.
How many guys you knocked down?
Hashi. We lost count after like 12.
12 guys on spring break.
Yeah.
Losing count on something like this is crazy.
How many more guys you knocking down?
On a regular weekend, I'd probably say 3.
3 guys a weekend?
Yeah.
What the is this piece of
I need you guys to stop thinking that being a stripper is easy. I know you guys see all the money that is being posted on social media, and social media is glamorizing the f out of it right now, but being a stripper is hard.
You serious?
It's dangerous.
And it's humiliating, sadly.
And there's a lot of negative things.
I don't want to be a stripper no more. And before y'all be like, why? For everybody that sees the money that dancers make and be like, I'm gonna switch occupations. Y'all, I swear to Jesus Christ, big toe, if I could really just undo being a stripper today, I would.
Damn! Gaining money that way has severe consequences, unfortunately. Gentlemen, never simp. Just don't do it.
Okay, so here I am. Once again, the only dancer that showed up for the opening shift. So I am preparing myself mentally. This is how dead it was after opening. And I was so terrified. I'm like, what did I do? But I had to stick it out. I kept taking a lot of really quick breaks to just run to the back room and freshen up because I was on stage so often. So I was like trying to snack.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Stage tips were really good because I was the only person that they could tip, so.
I deeply believe that no amount of money is worth putting myself in a bad situation or going low. A person's dignity and value are priceless.
When you're a dancer, you're working in this kind of industry, you lead everybody to believe like, oh, I'm living my best life. I have all the money. I can go on all the trips. I can buy all the clothes. But how do you feel when the cameras go off, or you lay down to bed by yourself at night, or the drugs wear off? Like, if you're honest with yourself, you know that you're miserable inside and that those things aren't fulfilling you.
Deep down, we all know that party life and that career are just not worth it.
That's key right there, because I feel like the culture that we live in, they glorify it, they glamorize, the stripper life, and I'm not gonna lie, some nights were fun.
Yeah.
Until it wore off.
But I am stepping back from doing over the past few months, I've become really unhappy.
What do you mean by that?
Regretting certain decisions that I've made. The first one is my parents. It took a while for them to be proud of me. I don't think they like what I do, and that's hard, not being able to talk to them about my career. Personally,
it's too risky and has permanent consequences. Always follow a career that you can proudly talk about in front of your family and friends. Do something that will make you feel pride, not shame.
Wouldn't want my child to get into work. I don't have sex in my free life, but in my actual day-to-day life or anything.
Really?
With normal people, no. Any sex that I have is on camera. I lost track of sex is special, and I want to be able to experience that again.
Well, I'm out, man.
You know it's a problem when your job prevents you from connecting with your family and friends, and even ruins your love life. I hope she gets help.
Shame that I was dancing naked. I just still felt so ashamed for the first couple of months. I used to cry after work, cause all I used to think is I could only imagine how embarrassed my parents would be when I used to give lap dances. I'm so ashamed of myself, but then it's just I made $500 today. And then it started I made $2,000. Then I made
Did you have to tell your parents you were working in a strip club? Because at some point the pub said, where are you getting all this money from, right?
No, I told my parents that I was babysitting some really rich white folks' kids.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
When it comes to money, it's something temporary. But when it comes to our parents, if we disappoint them, it's something very hard to fix. So, brothers, try to make them proud.
Why men don't go to the club anymore?
It costs too much. Parking costs too much. To drink costs too much. I don't really go to the club, so that's not my thing anymore. You basically going there as a dude to try to impress somebody and get the attention. Not all, but y'all already know what I mean. If you a single dude and you see a pretty girl, you want to try to talk to her. She may not be interested unless you're trying to buy her a drink. And this is the number one thing that's actually new. You go to the club, let's say you want to dance with somebody. 95% of the time, women are only dancing on women, whether that be their friends or women they don't know. Now, I don't know why they do that the whole night at the club. That's something you got to ask them, but these are all telltale signs for you as a dude to just stop going to the club, build a skill, learn something, just stay out of that environment. You don't got to waste your time there chasing something that you're not even going to get.
When men realize that club life and party life is a waste of time, that's exactly when a man becomes fully mature. Learn a new skill instead. Spend that extra money on books. Never waste it on these things that will not benefit you.
What's your body count?
Yeah.
How many people you slept with?
Wait.
It's okay. We have time. Don't worry. It's okay.
Okay. So many times?
How many people? How many men?
¿Cuánto? ¿Desde cuándo?
Yeah.
50 persons.
Ew.
Very nice.
If you don't mind my asking, where the hell have you been all this time?
In 3 years.
In 3 years? Whew, okay. I like your honesty. Amazing.
I want to talk about the way that stripping long-term altered my brain at a young age and how that genuinely affected me doing that so young, because I wish more people spoke about that.
This brave lady speaks in an unfiltered, honest way that only a few dare to mention. So, pay close attention to the side effects, and let's forget the money for a second.
I wish that that was something that was more known, is that things like stripping and OnlyFans at a young age is so deeply impactful on your brain chemistry. During the time that I was stripping, I lost all bodily autonomy completely. Like, I lost all sense of self and any boundaries or any understanding of my body feeling like my own. And I couldn't even look at myself, and it wasn't in like a insecure, like, oh, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough kind of way. It was like I'm looking at a compartment of bits and pieces, like of a bunch of parts that are my income. This is a tool that I use for income. This is how I pay my rent and get around. And that is an insane amount of pressure to put on someone when it's like you have to stay already as a woman, young and beautiful and conventionally attractive and aesthetically pleasing and all these things as it is. And on top of that being like, if I'm not those things, I can't survive. I can't afford to live. And going into a place where my naked body was something that was exchanged for cash and something that people could just have at and grab at and talk about and make comments on and be derogatory towards was so, like, it did things to my brain that I can't even explain. This caused things like eating disorders, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sexual dysfunction, intimacy problems in my relationship, even things about my sexuality. It changed so much. Having that lack of bodily autonomy put me in the most dangerous, scary situations, and it has left me long-term changed for life. And I wish more young people knew this before doing stuff like this.
The only thing I can say right now is how much I admire her honesty, and I hope she finds her way back to a healthy life.
I remember sitting in my car crying my last day working as an exotic dancer. And I was telling myself, this is not how my story is gonna end. Because I would remember every time I went in there, it was just dark, the darkness. Not just the ambiance of the room, but how it felt being there.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Full of drugs, alcohol, liquor. Full of women, not an empowering space of women, full of women, full of competition. They don't want you to take their person or just things like that. it was just a negative place. And I'm like, I can't do this my whole life. I know that I'm struggling. I know that I need help. And I know that I can't pay my rent this month. And I know that opportunities are not coming to me at all.
You're no different than anybody else.
Even as hard as I try, but I can't keep doing this anymore. It got to a point where even the customers in the club were like, girl, this is not you anymore.
Let's not forget that we always have a choice. So it's very wrong to pretend that we accidentally chose something. Instead, we need to take accountability if we seek to fix the issue.
What are you doing here, sis? What are you doing here, babe? You need to leave. Because my spirit was not for that place.
You brought this on yourself!
What's sad about this profession is only learning about the side effects. When it's too late, we need to teach our children to earn their money in a respectable way that will bring honor to the family.
On the job, I basically quit 3 months ago, calling me last night to tell me I'm fired. No, they didn't give me an explanation. Technically, they don't have to. If you have ever worked as a spicy dancer, you already know. And the clubs don't have to tell you why they fired you. They don't have to give you an explanation at all. But in my opinion, the elephant in the room, the two things that it could have came down to is the fact that I've gained weight and I don't go to work.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
When I was 18 years old, I took a trip to California with some friends and we went on Sunset Boulevard and we ended up going to a strip club. I had never been to a strip club before in my life, so my friends wanted to take me. And they say, Ian, don't fall in love with any strippers. I'm like, why would I fall in love with a stripper? Come on, guys. Well, I end up falling in love with a stripper. I don't know what it was, but I got like obsessed by the end of the night. To me, I thought this was like the hottest girl on the planet and like it was my first love. I end up inviting her and one of her coworkers back to our hotel. I didn't want them to come to the room we had though, so I booked a second hotel room that night for them. When the two of them are in the room, I'm like laying on the bed, throwing singles all around, and I'm starting to sober up a little bit. And I'm realizing these two girls are not that attractive at all, and I wasn't really in love.
Stories like this are ones we shouldn't forget, because they teach us that staying sober is always the best choice.
I have a hot take. I 100% do not think men should go to a strip club for their bachelor party. I think it's extremely disrespectful to their soon-to-be wife. This whole it's my last night of freedom. If that's the way you're thinking, you should not be married. You should not be getting married. For you to put yourself in a situation with any temptation is disrespectful. I don't think that strip clubs are a way to celebrate you getting married. Obviously, everybody has their own opinion, but I'm speaking from how I feel and what will be and will not be tolerated in my relationship. Really, it's just out of respect and comfortability for your partner. There are so many ways to have a good time with your guy friends, even going to a bar, going, clubbing or whatever. That is not a strip club. Agree to disagree, that's totally fine, but I was actually married, and this kind of behavior is what actually made us get a divorce. It's statistically proven that a lot of relationships don't make it because of this behavior.
I agree, but let's remember that both sides shouldn't do this to avoid this conflict.
I accidentally became a stripper. I don't know if that's wild to say.
I went. How do you accidentally?
Pause.
Go ahead.
Let me break it down. So my one friend that I know, I met her when I was working at a breakfast establishment. I was a hostess, and she worked at the club, and she was just like, hey, if you ever want to come there and be a shot girl, you can go ahead and hit me up. I can get you. I was dating this guy. I'm like, all right, if me and him break up, I'm going to the club.
What?
Because me and him were essentially arguing a lot because I was consistently picking up work. I was working 90-hour weeks just for the fun of it. I like touching money. I like making money. I can make money. I'm good at it.
You weird, buddy.
Some people can't admit why they did something and choose to find excuses, and it's a sad sight.
Strippers say a market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty. This article is a few months old, but I had to share it because it is hilarious. These strippers on Twitter were talking about how they can predict the market trends and forecasts way better than any finance bro. Basically, people were making a lot more money during COVID when it was unemployment, stimulus checks, and now gas is higher, rent is higher, and there's layoffs, so less people are going to the strip club.
I think women just have a knack for more so than men.
Compassion and empathy and generosity of heart.
What comes to your mind if I say what would you say men are better at than women?
I think men are better at
That's a question she didn't expect.
Probably.
It's like muscle stuff. Usually we're pretty good at.
I think women are just as strong as men.
Physically?
Yeah, I do.
But they're not though, right? She's not okay. She's not crying. I didn't ask anything. I was just asking what's the difference between men and women.
Basically, it's not all sunshine and rainbows over here. I spend a lot of time on this account glorifying my job and talking about how much I love being a dancer, but I thought I would make a video kind of pointing out some of the cons because I, in no way, shape, or form, want these young people to look up to me that follow me on this account and think that it's all sunshine and rainbows over here. Number one, which is also a pro, but in a lot of ways can be a con, is the money. The money in this industry is extremely inconsistent. You never know what you're going to make day to day, week to week, month to month, or even yearly, and so that can be really hard for a lot of people to budget or fall back onto, and then you realize you're not making the same that you were before. There's been times when I've made thousands of dollars in one night, and then the next night I literally make $0, and so that inconsistency can be really, really hard for a lot of people.
I'm glad a lot of people are being honest and warning about the side effects.
To all the girlies who want to be a dancer so bad, don't do it. This is not your sign. Any video you see, this is not your sign. You know how rare it is to get a club that's like consistent like that? It's very hard. It's not very easy. I worked and I only made $4. 2 girls out of all the girls I worked today made over 100 today. Like, I took off my clothes today for $4. Do you really think that's worth it? No! Don't say this is my sign. It's not. I promise. Stay to your office 9-to-5 job. You guaranteed money.
Let me tell y'all something. These girls are glorifying being a dancer, but there are a lot of negatives to it. I was a dancer for 5 years. Moral of this story, yes, you make money, but it comes with other things. Please be careful out here.
The reason why this concept is not gaining a lot of money anymore is because a lot of men don't go to clubs anymore.
I see a lot of girls on here romanticizing stripping, but I want to give you the very raw truth of what it's like. This past week very much explains it all in a nutshell.
I did extremely well that night, but I got followed home.
In this job, you need to be very, very aware of your surroundings and always trust your gut. This is a very dangerous job. Not going to sugarcoat it. Men can be disgusting.
Huh?
Luckily, I was aware and I noticed and I called the police. I had never been so scared in my life and didn't sleep that night. And this is what I mean when I say not everyone can do this job. The money is nice, but you give so much to do it.
Even if it's nice, the risk isn't worth the effort.
Realistic money count as in 2024. 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40. That's it. That's always it. Where are the $500 days? What happened to that?
Well, I'll tell you. Reasons why you should not be a especially with the progression of TikTok. It is so easy to just look at all these videos and see all these girls making all this money and be like, oh my God, why am I not doing this? It's not that they're lying or that these things aren't actually happening to people who dance, but it kind of glamorizes and brushes over the bad parts of it. So let's get into it. First of all, dancing is not for everyone and it's not for anyone forever. There will come a point where you physically can no longer do it. You are going to get old, your ankles are going to give out, will most likely develop knee problems.
Yes, so I just found out like a lot of people don't know that strip pay to work. So basically you go in and like depending what shift you work, what club you're at,
the rate is different. My home club was really, really low compared to every other club I ever been to. There was a couple like go-go bars I danced at in Jersey, and their house fees were crazy, but it was after 7. So if you got there at 7 p.m., which is way too early if you're trying to stay till 2 a.m., then you only had to pay $25, I think. And then like after 7, it just kept getting higher. So if you came at like 10, your house fee is almost like $100, if not over $100, depending on the day. Miami's house fees are ridiculous. It's like $300 after tip out and house fee that you are spending just to have worked. So if you didn't make $300, you made negative money and nobody cares.
The moral of the story is to work a hard, honorable job. And men are doing something fascinating lately. They're walking away from parties and wasting time. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.